All right, well, so before I jump into my presentation, I'd like to tell you folks about a story that happened to one of my friends recently. So she said she was going to go to a mall and shop for a chapstick or a lip balm or maybe a hair conditioner. I don't remember. So she walked into that makeup store and she walked out spending a she ended up spending $1,000 on a beauty kit. She later confessed that she was scared and not willing to go shopping anymore because she felt like she is no longer in control of herself and her behavior and her actions. So it really got me thinking about two of the most common human emotions, which are the first one is fear, and the second one is anxiety. And so here's this quote by an ancient Roman playwright. His name is Terence. And it says, "I'm human, and nothing of that which is human is alien to me." Well, fear and anxiety are truly natural human emotions. Let's say if someone calls you from an unknown number, dozens of questions might be running through your mind. Well, for instance, who could be calling me now? Do I give it 3 more rings and then pick up? Could this be a scam? Well, in my case, I do fear those things, and I may assume that other people do as well. So I like to compare buttons to doors. Would you open a door if you didn't know what was behind it? So why would you expect whoever receives your email or visit your sites to click buttons that don't provide sufficient information? So, elaborating on that subject, I did some research on what are the major reasons to cause consumer anxiety, well, according to industry experts. And so I came up with a short list of those things. Firstly, well, the fear of the unknown. This emotion is probably one of the most common reasons that is explained by human instincts, something that is, well, primitive. The fear of the unknown prevents an individual from leaving his or her comfort zone. Every time an individual encounters an unfamiliar situation, the fear manifests itself and prevents an individual from taking the right decisions in life. And usually, an individual chooses to run away from the situation and, in the process, loses certain opportunities in life. Moving on, there's this thing called pseudorphobia, or a fear of being duped. So it may seem like an odd term to most people, although many of us become pseudophobic or highly anxious about the possibility of being treated poorly than other customers or being taken advantage by the salespeople. Then goes lack of context, or just simply not enough details about a product or a service, or on the contrary, too much information, and so that whoever receives your email just gets lost in an abundance of text. And then last but not the least is a poor value proposition. It's when your customers aren't able to understand what's in it for them. So I was thinking, and I don't want to really reinvent the wheel here, but I'd say that the answer to all that is simply clarity. So the logic of buttons equal doors can be applied to your entire marketing strategy. Just come to think of it. If your client's vision of your product is in 2020, then they're very, very likely to be anxious or uneasy when asked to make a purchase or sign up. Well, a lot of you might be aware that there's this phenomenon that has been around for a while now, and it's called unboxing. It's been trending on YouTube. Well, the name pretty much speaks for itself. Unboxing is a genre of videos on YouTube where people quite literally unbox a product to get a feel for it. So many are user-generated videos. So let's say I would go on YouTube and upload a video of me unboxing I don't know, an iPod, let's say. But then there are videos that are uploaded by brands. So brands are actually starting to get in on the action too. So these videos not only document the experience of opening a product, but they often dramatize it and in turn take on a quirky, playful spirit, showcasing products in all of their freshly unopened glory. So moving on, a little bit of data and statistics. So these videos have become quite popular recently and have gained a pretty solid audience. Unboxing video views have grown approximately 57% over the past year, and uploads have grown more than 50%. So you might be wondering, what is the magic behind unboxing really? And how can marketers make sense of this intriguing genre of videos to better connect with their customers? So to dig into these questions, I turned to the data and psychology. So what I discovered was that the magic behind unboxing videos might be connected to the feeling of anticipation we get in watching them. This becomes especially apparent when we consider that unboxing videos are most often watched during the holiday season when the giddy, childish-like anticipation is running high anyway. In fact, 34% of the views for unboxing videos related to food, electronics, sports, or beauty or fashion products, they happen in the October to December timeframe. And that's 1.5 times higher than the average volume of unboxing videos, video views in other quarters. So as to a deeper psychological approach, numerous studies have been done to understand that phenomenon. I've read a lot of articles by psychologists, and I really liked the one by Dr. Judy White. In one of her articles, she said that we are programmed to crave surprises. So Ms. White, she claims that in this case, we may be projecting ourselves onto the person opening the box. So our brains seem to be hardwired that way. We're equipped with something called mirror neurons. So the same neurons that fire when we watch an activity that are fired when we perform the same activity ourselves. Isn't that amazing? Presenting your product to your customers actually sparks a neurological kickback. This is why those videos are so in demand. In fact, this trend should be mimicked by the entire marketing industry and email marketers in particular. You may think that unboxing videos are just for electronics and gadgets. It's true, those categories are widely popular for unboxing videos. However, let me share a couple of examples of how some brands have used such an approach on me through my own inbox. This one is one of my favorite ones. Well, you can't get more literal than an actual box with an actual product inside of it. And this example is by a popular Dollar Shave Club. And this email is, if I'm not mistaken, this was the first email that I received after signing up for their newsletter. And so the same goes for Graze. I mean, you can think, well, nuts. Well, literally nuts. You can see the actual box with the product you're about to order to enjoy the nuts. So I think, yeah, this is a little silly, but it's also genius. Moving on. So actually, let me add, so regardless whether you presenting your product, whether it's a razor or a box of nuts, unboxing make them tangible. So in those emails, these two emails, they're very practical as they give consumers a look into what exactly they can expect when they get your product. So yes, the unboxing may be highly popular on YouTube, but using this tactic will actually leverage the genre in a fresh new way. I am a connoisseur of visuals, and I really appreciate a neat presentation of actual products I'm about to have delivered to my door. I like that Sephora takes my product preferences into consideration and surprises me at the same time with an appealing display of freebies. So this is a great example of unboxing that openly demonstrates the product and describes its advantages. Learning can be a strenuous process, and motivation doesn't always kick in when you need it. So it's always important to know you're actually moving forward. So forget about the pace. It's the fact that's important, and Duolingo makes sure you reach your goals. When you are able to visualize the progress that you're making with the help of this app, you discover more features of the product and you get to know it better. So this is the email that I received after I missed my second Spanish class. So procrastination, may you rest in peace. And well, last but not the least, GIFs are a perfect match for emails. Unlike videos, they don't need to be clicked in order to play. Their size is variable and they work well with most email clients. So by taking a quick glance at this email, the user becomes more familiar with the layout and major features of this tool. So my team and I showed our service from every angle possible. We demonstrated major features and how they work, and provided a clear and simple CTA. So a good presentation, no matter if that's a website or an actual store or an email, will always be appreciated because it bridges the educational gap between your product and your user. So consider this. Refining the way you display your product or service will turn the blank stares into "I get that." Well, that was it. Thank you for your attention. I am looking forward to answering all of your questions, either through the chat box or maybe you can tweet me or email me. Anyhow, please.
Thanks a million for that, Olga. Some fantastic information. I can't wait to test out a few myself. Let's see if people like unboxing SEO audit reports. One of the things I did wonder going through it, would you have any insight or information for us on how soon in the onboarding process should we look at doing unboxing, and then how often? Is it something that come overdone, or is it something that we should be doing repeatedly for users?
You always have to find a balance between things. Abusing this tactic is definitely not going to do any justice to your entire marketing strategy. However, when you present your product from the very first step in customer journey, you really give them a better sense and a better feel of your product. You open your heart, you open a box, and this really establishes a better connection, a better relationship with your prospect and with your users, so that they realize you're not hiding anything, and there's no secret door or anything they should be scared of. So the tension is gone, and I think this really helps to establish a healthy relationship that can be nurtured into something more. So try to use it in balance with your entire marketing strategy. Make sure that you not only do an open, blunt presentation of your product, as a picture, but make sure that you also provide a good story to the picture of your product. That will help as well.
Fantastic. I know one of the traditional things when it comes to the psychology behind marketing that we tend to focus on is the use of colors, and certain colors being relaxing and soothing. Is that something that your analysis has shown is still the case, or is it moved beyond that and it's more about the holistic design? And if there is use of colors that can be helpful, have you any tips there?
When it comes to colors, I think there's only one thing I can say. Well, email marketing industry generates myriads of statistics. There's myriads of numbers, lots of researches and reports. And let's say we run an A/B test that shows that most of our emails with red buttons got a higher CTA. And so, well, clearly, well, here it is. That's the answer. Go ahead and make all your buttons red, right? Well, it doesn't necessarily work that way because when you want to have to make your marketing strategy into a successful one, you really have to consider that there's an actual person on the other end of the screen of the monitor. And you really need to test, but in a different way. Make sure that the color of the button incorporates into your brand design. Is this something that you really find appealing? I would say that numbers, they're great support. Definitely run the A/B testing, but then also don't forget about the human part of the visual interaction, the visual communication between the email that you're sending and the user who's going to read this email.
Really pragmatic and practical advice there. I know it's something we do a lot of testing on Usability Hub to check out what people's reactions can be to elements like that. And as you say, it's moved beyond that and we're taking another step. I know one of the things I'm always fascinated on when I use the SEMrush email analytics tool, if you haven't tried that out, it's a fantastic new offering from the team there. And a question has come up about it. Have you any tips to improve deliverability of email? And when I use that analytics tool, it's always the first metric that my eye gets drawn to. That's the cynic in me. But it's absolutely fascinating to see how the difference of a few words or the inclusion of an image can affect deliverability. So have you any tips there on getting more of our mails into an inbox rather than hitting the spam folders?
A very good question. Thank you. Well, I would say inbox is something that's very private. We feel very protective of that. It's, well, unlike social media, this is our little space that we only allow certain people to be there. So keep that in mind and make sure you only send relevant information. You are not way too aggressive and way too pushy with your emails. What I mean is the time difference. So let's say you want to keep them updated on your, let's say, blog. Well, great. And if you know that you have daily updates in your blog, you don't have to spam your client or your user with your daily blog updates. Well, unless the user wants it. But then we'll make sure that you keep the timeline. Send them a monthly updates maybe or a weekly updates. Again, you can A/B test or you can survey your users to make sure that this is this would be the right frequency of emails. So that's that. Well, then again, you need to run some analysis in regards to the relevancy of content that your clients, your users are willing to receive. Because staying relevant, that's one of the major highlight. That's something that I would really emphasize when we're speaking of content marketing. So stay relevant, and then also provide value. If your readers understand that you're not exactly bringing any new information, something that they can use in their daily lives, something that will bring impact, then they probably won't allow you to be in their inbox anymore. So I would say that these 3 points are the major ones. But then again, there's a lot of other things that you should be keeping in mind. But I would highlight those 3.
It's a fascinating area. It's almost like SEO, and there are so many factors with the heuristic analysis of emails to identify spam. So it's a whole fascinating area. My brother actually works in it. He wrote some of the scripts on it, so I have some inside knowledge there. In terms of other ways we can help remove and reduce anxiety in our users, what do you use to test that, Olga? What are the metrics we should be focusing on with that? Do we measure it using click-through rates and open rates and response rates, or is there something else we should be looking at there? And how do you evaluate whether you're being successful or not in your attempts to reduce anxiety in our users?
Good question. I would say it doesn't. So the CDA or other metrics, other numbers that you get from a specific email, you shouldn't limit your thinking and your strategy with that. Think a little bit further. So the email is actually it's a door, and when user opens an email and clicks an email, he enters into the world that you're allowing him to enter. You're inviting him. And so you have to take a deeper insight into where the user is landing. So the landing page, you can measure the depth of the scroll, how the user interacts with the screen, with the page, with the content. There's also lots of ways of how to measure whether the revenue or conversion comes from, let's say, an email or a webinar or some social activity. So if you can measure that, and there's certain ways to do that, there's tons of software out there now. So if you understand that the email has served an impulse to allow your users to discover some value in your product or your service, well then definitely you did a great job. But then never stop improving. And if you receive feedback, let's say you monitored some of your social accounts, and this is something that you really have to do because social media is kind of a megaphone that's been granted to almost everyone now. So make sure that the people enjoy what you send them, and if there's something that they don't like, try to tweak it, and well, yes, again, always stay relevant and pay attention to the voice, the vox populi, as they say, the voice of the audience.
Fantastic. I'm not sure if you've come across it, but recently Ed Fry and the guys at Inbound have shared some fascinating information on how they've been doing email outreach, and they've been testing writing very personalized emails, trying to encourage more interaction on the inbound side, and they've had some fantastic results. So have you found any correlation there between the styling and the tone of the email in terms of personal versus very clearly a mass mailing list? And what would you advise people? Is there an issue there in potentially losing trust if you make it look too personalized, or is the personalized email the way to go?
You know, when it comes to personalization, you really have to be very careful. I think there was this interview where I answered a similar question, and what I really believe is if you want to craft a tailor-made email, you have to stay aware of the line and never cross it. So let's say if a department store started sending me coupons, let's say for some certain medication, then I may start thinking, well, what the heck? How did you find out about it? I never ever told anyone about it. So I know that lots of stores, they're doing their best to keep tabs on their consumer behavior, and they want to stay relevant, and they want to send me relevant information, but then I don't want you to come that close to me and the display that you know that I need some certain, let's say, medical products. So this is one of the examples you have to stay within the frames of personalization and don't cross the line. But then if you're speaking of the tone of voice, I really love the informal approach. But then at the same time, you have to know the balance. If you are way too cheerful and playful and crack some jokes all the time, then I might get bored, and a lot of people will. So you can change your tone. In some cases, you may deliver information in a formal way, more respectful way, more with a higher tone of reverence. But then at times we all love to hear funny stories and funny jokes, and then why not? This is a great way to cheer some person's life. Then why not? Yes, definitely. Play around with the language, with the tone, and with the content, and definitely run some tests and analyze how this performs. And I'm sure you anyone who's interested in it will be able to find the best way.